Hi everyone, Karen from Primary Links here. Just wanted to take you through briefly the Special Education Teacher Planner for 24-25. It's A4 in size again. There will be a white coil. This is just a sample that I have at the moment. It will also be hardback. I got very good feedback last year when we moved to hardback, so I have done the same for this one as well this year. There are 184 pages. So it's quite substantial. There's 5 different sections which I will take you through now on the laptop. So we just have our cover here again, our contact information, our contents page. You can see there's our caseload, diary, meetings, other records, and then I've added some useful resources as well. Some things I've left in, other things I've updated and changed. The yearly overview, I think everyone liked that layout as well last year. We're into caseload, so you have your school support plus information, and again I'd recommend just initials there. Literacy support, so the idea behind this is that you might use post-its, and this is changeable throughout the year because our groupings are generally fairly flexible. We have numeracy and we have other school support, which generally will be, if you're doing movement breaks or emotional, social support for, well-being groups and so on. So that can be whatever fits for your role in your school. We have the diary section. I've left this in and updated it a little bit, the minding you part. I think that's super important for us as special education teachers to just be mindful of kind of minding ourselves really, and I suppose I've made space for that on the weekly page as well. So your timetable, again, I know what I do is my timetable changes about 20 times in a term, so I generally print it off, size it to that, and just stick it on over because it keeps changing rather than rubbing out with pencil and so on. This is the monthly overview. Again, that was updated last year. Really good feedback on that as well, the to-do list. So just what's coming up for you in the month. So you have your personal and professional goals as well. And then this is the weekly spread. I'll actually just take you into another one here. So you have your Monday to Friday. You have a record of pupil absence, interruptions, and there are many, as we know, within our role. We have our to-do list, and then we have notes for LOAs. Every year I got asked lots of emails asking, what does LOA stand for? So this stands for log of actions. So it's not, I suppose it's just something, if something comes up in the day where you might have a phone call with somebody or something happens, you speak to the class teacher and there's a change made, you just might log it there with a view to going on to wherever you log it, if it's Aladdin or whatever system you have in your own school. But this is just a section where you can note, what do I need to add to my log of actions over the week? And then obviously our minding you section as well. So that just goes on like that. At the end of each month, there's 2-page notes. So that's very handy. I know in September when I'm doing out like what school support plans I've left to do and so on, I write that in as well there. So that's it. So some of it is themed depending on what's coming up each month. And I'll just fly on. I've also included holiday weeks, because if you're anything like me, I was studying for the last few years, so I was probably doing a bit of work over the holidays, or even just recording any appointments. I really did use it as a diary, personal diary also. So I've left that in as well. So then it just goes on to term 2. All holidays are marked in also. Bank holidays and midterms are marked in. And I suppose it's just color coded. Each month has a different color theme into June. And then I also have 2 weeks for July for anyone doing July provision or anything like that. They can record in just a blank space template there. The next section then is the meeting section. I have two templates here, an IEP meetings template and a parent-teacher meeting. So that is photocopyable. So you feel free to photocopy that. I find when I'm going into an IEP meeting, I do photocopy that, jot down my few bits, and then that goes into the pupil's file or helps me in writing up the IEP for that particular child. Parent-teacher meetings, similar there. And then we have SETT meetings, so there's 3 pages of those. Other professional meetings might be if you're asked to sit in, if an SLT or an OT is visiting the school, or an EP psychologist or whatever it is, you might do that. Croke Park meetings then also. Our additional records then we have, same from last year, password, contact list, CPD log, and then the useful resources is something that I've added in. I've shared this before on my social media. It's a sample referral log. There's a link here to a Google document that you can access and download. So we just find that, you know, you're discussing various things about children in SET meetings, and it's lovely to have a log of who was referred for speech and language or OT at what point. So that's something that's a working document that we all use throughout the year. So that's just an example of that, and you can feel free to download the soft copy. Some other information then, I suppose, working in special ed around, you know, pupil regulation. So there's just some information around that. I suppose as my time as a play therapist, something I use in my teaching a lot would be something like this, or Bruce Perry's work. There's some other interesting ones here, Gary Landreth's Setting Limits. So that you might find those little bits and pieces useful as well. And then I just have the useful website, so I just update that yearly. And then there's plenty of notes at the back. And that's it. So hopefully you have found that useful, and I will chat to you soon. For orders, you can go onto the website www.primarylinks.ie. I have discount codes ready to go for anyone ordering over 10, 12, 14. You'll see the code and those details on the products themselves when you click into those products. Either way, you can also send me an email on primarylinks.ie@gmail.com if you'd like to put in an order. Thank you.